have 1 minute
No.
to think. I want you to be able to describe what 1% means. What is 1%? I don't want a number value. I want a definition of what 1% is. So a minute starting now just to think absolutely silently. Okay, and that's your time. Turn to your partner. Seth, work with Arian. And I'd like you to share what your thoughts were of what 1% was. Off you go, please. You can just stop it now.
1%.
Okay, who's got a suggestion? What is 1%? Someone define what 1% is, Emily.
It's 1 over 100.
Okay, so I'm hearing it's 1 over 100. So that's turning it into a fraction, an equivalent fraction. Remember we talked about equivalent yesterday? It always remains the same.
0.01.
Okay, so basically we've turned it into a
Decimal.
decimal. You're telling me the equivalent. You're not telling me what it is, though. You've shown me 2 equivalents to 1%, but what is 1%? How can we describe 1% of something?
If you get 1% of a test right.
Okay, so you can get 1% of something. So it can be defined, it can describe something, but what is it? We're still not touching what it is. Dean?
It's an amount of something.
It's an amount of something. Good, we're getting closer, Dean. Can anyone give me a little bit more mathematical talk? Rather than say an amount of something, we know what amount it is.
Is a whole.
100% is a whole.
1% is a part.
1% equals a part. What size is that part? We've already kind of got the answer on here. Jacinta? It's 100th of something. What it's saying is your 1%, you've taken a whole and you've cut it into 100 little bits and you have got one of those bits. And that can be done to anything. We talked about this yesterday. You could have 100th of a hot dog. You could have 100th of a chocolate bar. You could look at 100th of the population, or 1% of the population. That's what you just got to remember. 1% is 1/100th. It's a little part of the whole. And there are 99 other parts that are exactly the same amount. Right, now I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think about how you got to school this morning. Think about which road you came along, which road you had to cross, how you got here. Okay, who's willing to share how they got to school? Okay.
First, I went onto the road.
Which road? Don't know the name?
Zanzibar.
You came down Zanzibar?
And then I went on to Colorwood Drive, I think. And then I rode through the park.
Through the park. Okay, I'll just stop you. I didn't come a completely different way. Grace?
Went across the road from Edgecombe.
You went across the road from Edgecombe. Did you walk or did you ride?
Rode my bike.
Josh, how did you get here this morning?
I rode my bike and went down the street that Louis lives on, whatever that's called.
Lego.
No, not.
We're not going to argue about what street you live on, Louis, but you came a different way from Lockie. Yeah? Anyone else come a different way? Jade?
I went onto Bellum and then I went to Adol and then I went onto Barber or something.
Okay, perfect. Right. This is a question. Everyone should be able to answer this. Where did everyone end up this morning when they came? Trafford? At school. So everyone came a different way, but still ended up at school, didn't they? And that's what maths is like, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Mr. Kocher showed you one way of getting percentages yesterday. A good way that's used all over the world by millions and millions of people. I'm going to show you a different way of getting to percentages today. Some of you might like my way, some of you might like Mr. Koch's way. The important thing is that we all end up at the same place. Like you've all ended up at school today. Let's try and all end up at the same place. What you'll need to do now is open your maths book. Percentages is the title. Percentages is the title. Percentages is the title. And what I want you to do is just copy down this mantra.
Find 15% of a number, we must first find 1% by dividing by 100. then multiply the result by 15.
Okay, who would like to explain what that means? Go back to what we were thinking. What is 1%? How do we find a hundredth of something?
100 by dividing
By?
by 100.
Perfect. If I wanted to find a half of something, what do I need to divide by?
1.
If I find a half of something, what do I need to divide by?
100 divided by it.
Forget 100. If I wanted to find a half of something, what would I need to divide by? Seth?
The whole.
No. No. If I was... Dean, come here. Come here, Dean. This is a bit worrying, people. Come here. If I wanted to find a half of Dean, how many equal parts would I need to chop him into? Not that I'm going to, of course, Dean. If I wanted to find a half of Dean, although I am tempted, if I wanted to find a half of Dean, how many equal parts would I need to chop him into? Gabby? 2. If I wanted to find a quarter of Dean, how many equal parts would I need to chop Dean into? If I wanted to find a tenth of Dean, how many equal parts would I need to chop Dean into?
2.
So if I wanted to find 100th of Dean, now this I'm getting more tempted with, how many little parts would I need to chop Dean into? Gabby? 100. Thank you, Dean. Great help there. Okay, so 100. And this is what we talked about here, is 1/100. So this is why we divide by 100, and that will tell us what 1% is. By chopping him into 100 equal parts, each of those little parts is 1% of D. Yes?
Yep.
Now, how many of those little parts do I want? How many of those little parts do I want?
15.
15. So I multiply my result by,
15.
and that will give me 15 of those parts. That's okay, 'cause this is what we're going to do next. Let's have a little try together. Okay? Everyone just write, find 12% of 300. Remember the steps to success that were in the mantra. Have a little think about what the first thing you need to do is. So find 15% of something, we divide by 100 to find 1%, then multiply by 15. What do you think I need to do to find 12% of something? Have a little think, read the mantra, and see if you can think how I'd need to begin. Jacinta, what do you think? What's the first thing I'd need to do?
You need to find 1%.
How do I find 1%, Jacinta?
By dividing it
By?
by 100.
Okay, that's one answer. I'm not saying whether I agree with that or disagree. Has anyone agree with Jacinta? Jay, do you agree with Jacinta? Seth, you agree? Anyone disagree with Jacinta? That's good. But anyone disagree with Jacinta? We're allowed different opinions, and you might not agree with what Jacinta said. But I do in this case, Jacinta. To find